Hi, so sorry about that last live stream that I just did. I'm redoing this now, so hopefully it's working. I had some issues with my mic, sorry, but I think it's okay now. Hopefully everyone will find this live stream okay. Hi, I'm back. Sorry, I had to start a new live stream because the settings were still hooked to my mic and it was glitching really bad. I'm sorry about that. But I'm back. Hopefully everyone finds this new live okay. Can you hear me okay? Hopefully. I'm not using my fancy mic, but hopefully you can at least hear my words. Hi. So I guess I'll repeat the stuff that you guys probably didn't hear very well in the last live stream. Okay, good. Okay, I'm glad that it's working now. But pretty much, I don't have anything super huge planned for this live stream. It's just going to be like a chill chat. You guys can ask questions. I also have some questions on Instagram as well that I can answer. And I also wanted to say that I'm sorry about some issues with Amazon right now. There have been some issues with availability for international orders. So if you're unable to order the paperback or hardcover from your country, just hang tight. It's going to be fixed pretty soon. So check in a few days. But sorry about that. I was trying to work it out. Oh my gosh, hi. There's so many people here. This is crazy. Oh yes, of course. I've got my coffee here. Thank you guys for joining, and thank you for all of the support on Instagram and YouTube. That was crazy. The video I posted this morning, that took so much time to make, but I'm really happy with how it turned out, and it was so fun to premiere it. Premieres are fun because you can like chat with people as it's going on, and people ask for more premieres. I might do some more in the future. We'll see. But yeah, if you guys have any questions about Capsule, feel free to ask. Just try to keep it as spoiler-free as possible because probably not everyone here was an ARC reader or a beta reader, and they don't really know what the story is about. So like, very mild spoilers are okay, but you know, there's some big no-nos. If you're an ARC reader, you know what I mean. Just like, not any of the plot twists, please. Oh my gosh, hi Millie. I recognize so many ARC readers here. Thank you so much. Oh, oh, thank you. And I think, let's see, will there be a sequel? Oh, I've been getting this question a lot. As of right now, I don't know. It's definitely a possibility just because of how open-ended the ending of the book is, and I have some ideas of if there were to be a sequel, what the sequel would be about. But I don't think I'm going to do a sequel, mostly because I'm very obsessed with, I probably shouldn't be announcing this so soon, but I'm very obsessed with the new project that I'm working on, and I'm really excited about that one. So if I do create a sequel for Capsule, it's going to be after my next project. Oh, hi, Sebastian. Will there be what is the best part in creating Capsule? Oh gosh, I think it's just how many people were involved with this book. There were so many, I mean, literally hundreds of people involved in creating this book, from beta readers to the ARC readers, my designers, the team, and just my friends who I nagged so much to like help me solve plot issues. And there were some scenes where I had to send them to my friends a lot because I just did not want to deal with writing them because there were some scenes that were just really, really cringy for me to write. And I think if you've read my book, you know what I'm talking about. So they were just a struggle, and I don't know how to describe it, but my writing was very avoidant. Like I was trying to just get past the scene really quickly. And my friends, especially like my friend Joy, she was like, you need to slow this down because it's just so obvious that you're trying to just not write that moment in the book. A sequel would be cool, but I like the book how it is. I agree, Halen. Is the name Capsule based on pill addictions? Originally, the storyline did have a little bit of, it wasn't about pill addictions or anything, but it had a little bit of it in the subtext. I don't know how else to explain it, but I'd say it kind of strayed from that a lot. And I went more in the direction of Time capsules. I did a lot of research on time capsules. I did a lot of research on supplements, like vitamin supplements, stuff like that. What other names were you considering instead of Jackie? Honestly, no other names. That was the first name that came to my mind, and I just stuck with it. You said that you knew the cover design and title before the story. How did you determine the story just from the title and cover? Okay, so that one, oh gosh. Honestly, the whole thing is kind of murky to me, but I believe I started out with some songs that I was listening to, and then while I listened to those songs, I just started getting random ideas. And when I was first putting the story together, believe it or not, the story was not this intertwined with reality thing. It was like the classic game takes you into another world type plot. So it's changed a lot, but I would say it was a lot of small pieces, and I kind of was just coming up with random stuff during the first draft. And after that was really when I started to put more research into it and brainstorming some new ideas. So it just slowly came together. Who was your favorite character? Darn, they're all like my favorite characters. I always say that I relate the most to Jackie, but Peter's probably my favorite character, and I really enjoyed writing Peter's character as well. Where do you find inspiration for writing and ideas? That they either hit me at random moments throughout the day, like just completely random, or I get inspiration from other art, like watching movies or reading other books, music, stuff like that. Oh, there's a lot here. A little sneak peek on your new project, if you don't mind. I feel like if I reveal too much, I might regret it, although I really want to share more. But let's just say it's very centered around martial arts, and I am very excited to write it. Who's the character you relate to the most? Yeah, I would probably say Jackie, but Jackie, Peter, and Kat, all of their characters have an element that I personally relate to a lot. And I think that's something that's been very consistent with all of my characters, is they're definitely not like me, most of them at least, but there's one aspect of their character that I can really relate to. How are you most like the characters? Oh man. I would say I'll take Jackie as an example, just because I say I relate to her the most. She's not exactly a representation of me now, but I can definitely see my past self in her, because there was a time where I was very antisocial, not necessarily out of shyness, but just the fact that I didn't really see the need for friends or anything. So that was something that I really wanted to incorporate into her story, because I feel like there's so many like shy female protagonists in young adult fiction, but none of them are like purposefully shy, not shy, purposefully antisocial. So I wanted to have kind of that perspective in my story. Um, oh, yes, martial arts. Have you ever taken martial arts? Yes, I have. Okay, I didn't do it very long, but I did take karate, and I was at a very intense dojo, and we had a lot of drama. It was pretty fun, actually. It was just a really interesting experience, and we were all from like completely different backgrounds and different ages. It was like there were people there in the same class from like age 10 to 60, so it was just quite interesting. It was really fun, and I'm trying to get back into it, because I need experience to write this book. That's the main issue right now. Let's see. If you were a main character in Capsule, which one would you be? I don't know if I'd want to be any of them. That's pretty rough. But probably Jackie. I think Jackie would be all right. Would you ever write a series, or are you strictly a standalone author? I guess I will reveal something else about my next project. It is a trilogy. Did you have in mind how the characters would look like? Yes, I did, but I didn't really incorporate any physical descriptions until after the beta reader copy. I realized that, like, I pictured them so well in my head, but I never really described them, so my readers had no idea what they looked like, and that was one of the problems with the beta copy. So in the final version, I did try to incorporate more physical descriptions and stuff. Thank you guys for being here. There's like 72 people. That's crazy. Um, was there supposed to be more characters in the book that went missing? Yes, so many. You guys have no idea. There are so many characters that I cut. There's this guy Aaron. He makes a very, very short appearance in like the first third of the story, and like he's literally mentioned once, I think. He was actually a much larger character in the original version, and what's left of him is just like a short, tiny snippet. But I also had Peter's friend or ex-friend play a much larger role in the story, and there was, oh shoot, what was that one character's name? Oh yeah, I had a childhood friend of Jackie, which was interesting. And I also had more of Kat's family. That's all I'll say about that. But it's definitely changed a lot. There's a lot of characters I cut, a lot of scenes that I cut. There used to be a bike race that was like very important to the story. I had a scene where Jackie tried to reach out to Peter online, which was interesting, and I was kind of sad to cut one that because it was pretty fun. But I'm very happy with the scenes that I kept, and I was looking back over the cut scenes. It's just so fun to look back up on those. Sorry, it like scrolls down every time I try to look at these questions. Let's see. Do you prefer standalone books? I do typically, unless I very rarely read series, but if I find one that I really like I really enjoy the first book, then I will commit. I've taken Taekwondo, martial arts are so fun. Yeah, they are fun. I feel like I have a love-hate relationship with martial arts though. It's like kind of a big commitment sometimes, but they are fun overall. Would you ever do a signing event for Capsule? I don't think so, honestly. I mean, I did do an event for Leaving Wishville, and it wasn't. I don't know if it was necessarily worth the effort. I feel like that's something I shouldn't say, but it was really fun. Don't get me wrong, but I just prefer online because you can. I don't know. You can connect with more people online, and it's not like forced into one location. But I might do some signed copy opportunities online. I'm not sure. We'll see. What is your favorite genre and or cliche to write? Okay, I love the like enemies to friends type thing. It's just my favorite. I just love characters who start out not liking each other, and that was something that I didn't know before I wrote Capsule. Because Leaving Wishville, Benji, he starts off with like a really strong, sturdy friend group, and that it kind of deteriorates over time. But it starts off really strong, and so these characters are all like very close. And I didn't realize I liked showing the friendships actually form. That's been really fun in Capsule. And I plan to do that in my next book quite a bit. Not fully, but quite a bit. Capsule is not available in my country's Amazon. Yeah, I explained this earlier. Sorry about that. It will be in a few days. Just give us some time and check again. There's been some availability issues internationally, but we're working on it. Least favorite ship. I guess that's referring to Capsule ships. I did like this thing on Instagram where I asked people who they shipped in Capsule. There was a lot of variety. Least favorite ship. God. I would say, oh, I'm going to come back to that one because I don't know. I'm still very confused. So excited for a trilogy from Mel. Yeah, I'm so excited too. Thank you. What's basically the genre of Capsule? See, I made it a young adult sci-fi thriller from various recommendations, but there's been people who are kind of frustrated about how I categorize the genre because it's not really, it's like light sci-fi and then also sometimes kind of light thriller. So it's like this weird mixture where it's not really strong in any particular category. Like I would call it mystery, but it's also more like light mystery because you don't really realize it's a mystery. So I would say it's kind of like this weird magical realism type hybrid sci-fi thing. But yeah, I mean, I guess it's less about the genre and more like if you like the specific tropes that are in the book, like the unlikable characters and the whole enemies to friends thing. Did you have a different ending in mind or were you really set? I had 3 alternative endings. I'm not going to say the other 2 because those are insignificant now, but I had 3 total endings that I was considering. And I wrote out all three, and then I chose, literally the night before I sent out my copy to beta readers, I chose one of them, which is still final today, and I'm happy with the one I chose. Can you talk about the evolution of your writing? Oh man. My first book, which I published at the age of 13, was horrible. I mean, it was filled with typos and plot holes, and I was so embarrassed because like some kids at school had read it, and I could tell they had nothing to say about it because it was just, not good. But after that, I would say leaving Wishville, my writing improved quite a bit. But I've always had a very simple writing style, and I think when I was younger, I used to try to make my writing more fluffy because it's what I read a lot. I read a lot of these like kind of elaborate descriptions with lots of vocabulary. And then I realized at some point that, I just want to write simple, like straight to the point type writing style. And so I'd say my writing has become pretty blunt. And some people really don't like this, but that's fine. I like having these really kind of random descriptions where you just don't expect how something's going to be described. Like there's some really weird descriptions in Capsule, and some people said it like knocked them out of the book, but I don't know, I find them humorous. Let's see. Oh shoot. Where was I? Hold on, I'm trying to find where I left off. I prefer music to reading, but who's to say what is what? When you knew the plot. Oh, okay, here's one. When you knew the plot, did you know how the setting would look? And were the scenes in the book, which some weren't used? And I'm not sure what the second question means, but for the first one about the setting, the original book was actually took place in the city where I live, which is really strange. But I had to change that due to what's the term? Like legal issues. I would run into some problems if I describe, it's just tricky territory. I don't necessarily want to describe like the characters breaking into a place that's actually a real place that did not give me permission to write that break-in scene. So I ended up just changing it into this fictitious place in California, Northern California. But I would say that a lot of the locations are still based on actual places. I'm not going to say what the places are, but they are based on places like in my area. Like Hell Cove, for example, is a beach that my family would go to quite a bit. And we haven't gone in a while, but we should. It has dunes and very violent waves. So that's kind of what I based it on. And same with the Quaso Drive. There's a specific road that I know that's kind of windy, and yeah. So they're based on actual places, but I don't use the actual names in the book. What's the biggest change in Capsule from the first draft to final copy? Biggest change? Oh man. I would say probably the plot, because the characters have stayed relatively consistent. Jackie changed a lot, Kat changed a lot. His character was always pretty strong, I'd say, and I had to kind of fix Jackie and Kat to make them more developed. But from the first draft to the final version, the plot has changed significantly, and I can see that with all the cutscenes and the fact that the setting itself was so different to how it is now. Do you start a novel with a plot or just an idea or single character description? I usually start with a single concept, not the characters. Like Leaving Wishville, I kind of got inspiration from the nearby oceans where I live for the setting. But when it came to the plot, literally the only thing that inspired me was the concept of what if there was a town where no one could leave, and then the characters kind of developed from there. But with Capsule, the same thing kind of happened. It started with the concept of the capsule on the cover, and I knew that there had to be a capsule involved in the plot. So then it was kind of just the question of how can I incorporate, what can I build around this idea of a capsule? So I usually start with one, just a single idea, I would say. Do you feel bad for Eugene? No, I don't. I mean, I did in the original, but I think he has a much softer. Oh shoot, I don't want to give any spoilers. I would say his his role in the story isn't quite as sad anymore. I would say it improved quite a bit from how it was originally. So I actually feel much better about how things get left with Eugene. Will you ever consider writing a horror book? I'm not huge on horror, so probably not. Do you write a background for characters before starting the novel? No, not really. I don't plot very well. I'm trying to work on that because I do think that I've kind of changed my perspective, and I think that if I plotted a little bit more, it would make my editing process less stressful. So I'm trying to plot a little bit more. But I typically outline my characters after I write the first draft so I can kind of reevaluate what's missing here. Like, what do I have that's okay right now? What do I need to add to it? Top tips for anyone writing a book and how to grow on social media like YouTube. Writing a book, I would say just go for it. Like I don't know. The number one thing that people message me is that they're like they don't know how to start or they don't know where to begin. And I think that question stems from just overthinking the process. Like just start writing and have fun with it. That's really the main thing. And I feel like if you're motivated enough to write a book and you actually like sit down every day or on a consistent schedule of some kind, you're going to finish it eventually. And how to grow on social media like YouTube. YouTube is weird. I never expected that I would be a YouTuber, to be honest. I like joked about it when I was little because I thought it would be so cool if I had a YouTube channel. And I had like these weird book review accounts. I had like this, I'm not sure if I'd call it a gaming channel. It was for Tree Friends. I don't know if you guys know. Is that called Tree Friends? I don't know if you guys know the game, but yeah, I had a YouTube channel for that game. But I never actually like thought I would grow a larger YouTube channel more than just something fun on the side. So I would say with YouTube, the trick is to not focus too much on the views because it's just going to stress you out. So don't really focus on growth too much and just put out stuff for yourself. Because for I would say about 2 years on YouTube, I was mostly just doing this for like no reason, honestly. I just thought it would be fun to film a video with my friends or film a video talking about my experience with something, and I didn't really expect anything out of it. And I feel like if you go into YouTube with that mindset or any other platform like Instagram or TikTok, I don't know anything about TikTok, with like the mindset of you're not there to grow, you're just there to have fun, then I think that helps a lot to like stay motivated and stay consistent. I still got to work on that consistency part. But yeah, I would say don't focus too much on the growth because that's just stressful, and don't try to plan it out too much. I've stressed myself out so much trying to create content within a specific niche, and it's just not necessary because you're going to figure out what type of videos you make after you start actually making videos and realizing, okay, I made that type of video, maybe like this informational how-to content isn't my thing, or maybe I don't like filming vlogs. And you never really know until you try it, so don't plan too much going into it and just experiment. Oh, Millie, you love in-person events. I get that too. I mean, that it is really fun to talk to people in person. So I totally get that. Was anything inspired from when you were younger and your friends in terms of relationship and personality? Yes. I say that's probably true for any author though. Hold on. Like, I feel like any author kind of bases characters or situations on stuff they've experienced. And I'm not going to say that like everything all the characters are going through I've experienced personally, but I think I've drawn all of those things from a certain situation in my life that's somewhat related. And I try to make it so that every single character in my book has one key thing that I can relate to a lot. And then everything else just builds off from there. Do you have any YouTube live stream moderators? If so, can we get them online? I don't know anything about YouTube live streams. This is the first one I've ever done. But I will, I don't know why you're saying that, but I will make you a moderator. I don't know how this works, but I trust you. It sounds like YA adventure. Oh, okay. Yeah, I would say that actually suits it pretty well. YA adventure. It definitely is like an adventure story. Let's see here. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see any of this stuff going on. All I'm going to share for now is that it has to do with martial arts and that it's a trilogy because I don't want to get too into it yet. Justice from my boy Eugene. What was your favorite review of Capsule? I can't remember. There were so many reviews where I was just like close to tears, man. They were so nice and like long and thoughtful. I cannot believe that Capsule has over, I think there's over 140 reviews. Is it 180? I don't remember. I think it's over 180, but it's crazy. And I just, like, I had no idea going into ARC reading how many people would sign up, but there have been a lot, and I just, man, it's crazy. What do you think improved your writing the most? Writing a lot. I think writing is the best way to improve your writing, to be honest. I used to watch a lot of like writing advice videos and read these articles and stuff, but I feel like the more you write, the better you get at writing. And also just beta reading and getting feedback on my work really helped me because some people would point out, like, I guess some people would point out, what is it, like frequently used words. That I realized that a lot, and I'm still working on it because I have these like go-to phrases, and hopefully as I continue writing, I'll start to vary that up more and more. Are you gonna read it on video one day like Austin McConnell did for his book? I love Austin McConnell. Oh my God, I hope that he's doing well because I don't know if you've seen his recent video, but he's going through some health stuff right now, but he's like one of my favorite YouTubers ever. He actually he inspired the video for like my first video that like went big on my channel. That like for me, it was pretty big because it hit 100,000 views. And that was the video where I talked about the book that I unpublished, the one that I wrote when I was 13 that sucked. And that was inspired by his video because he made one called Erasing My Book from the Internet or something along those lines. Yeah, I do plan to do a chapter 1 reading. It's not going to be on my channel, though. It's going to be on the Lost Allen Press YouTube channel. So I recommend you subscribe there if you haven't already. You excited for Troll Hunters Rise of the Titans? Yes, of course. Troll Hunters is like my all-time favorite show. I'm not the hugest fan of the other shows that take place in that universe, but like Aliens, no, the Three Below, not Aliens. Three Below and Wizards, but I'm so excited for the movie, and I'm not going to go into my fangirling now, but I have really mixed feelings on the whole Jim humanity situation. That's all I'm going to say. Let's see here. Thought of bringing any character to the next novel, like bringing him to the new story. I don't think I would do that unless I made a sequel. I probably not going to make any other books that are like within the same universe. Ooh. Thank you for the donation here, Wookie. Are you going to read it in one day? Oh, I already answered that question, but yes, I will do it on the Lost Allen Press YouTube channel. I hope my audio is okay. I'm filming on my MacBook audio. I was really hoping my mic would be working, but hopefully it's not too bad. Personally, I really like reading the novel with the audiobook. Oh, do you mean like filming it or creating an audiobook? I have actually considered it quite a bit, and I think I would be open to it if I found like the right opportunity. I don't think it's something that I would record myself just because of all the stuff going on in my life right now. I'm just like really busy, and that's a pretty big commitment. And now my good mic isn't working as well. But if I like found the right opportunity, I might go for it. When people are, oh, okay. Have you had bias for any character? I don't know what that means. Like, do I like a specific character for personal reasons or something? I'm not sure. Capsule deserves to be on Book Talk. I stay away from TikTok because I know that I get very addicted to stuff. Like I had a very bad Minecraft addiction when I was like 10. And so I promised myself that I was going to limit my video games because I know if I play them, I will just be addicted. So I'm like, I see my friends on TikTok and I'm just scared. So I'm trying to stay away from it. I'll just stick to YouTube. Have you thought about writing screenplays sometime in the future? Yes. However, I do think if I were to write screenplays, it would mostly be like, what's it called? Transcribing, is that the right word? It would be an adaptation of like actual books I published, not necessarily new work. What was the hardest part to write in, oh shoot, scroll me down. What was the hardest part to write in Capsule? Gosh, I would say, oh god, there were so many parts that were so hard to write. I would say a lot of the scenes toward the end, like around the climax, were so rough, just because they were very emotionally intense. Like, they were just, if you've read my book, you know what I mean. But I would say the emotional scenes were even harder to write than like the more action-packed ones. What lessons from writing Capsule are you excited to take on to your next book? Oh, okay, that's an interesting question. I would say taking risks is the biggest thing I would move on for my next book, because with Leaving Wishville, the only way I can really describe it is I was writing kind of scared. Like, when I was writing Leaving Wishville, there were times when I was like, ooh, people are going to read this. I should probably not put this in my book. I'm like, oh, my mom's going to read this, blah, blah, blah. My friends are going to read this. And I was like getting so paranoid about people judging me for the stuff in my book, which was really stupid, but like understandable. So there was a lot of stuff that I was too scared to like fully dive into in Leaving Wishville. So I feel like I kind of just skimmed the surface. And with Capsule, I went all out. I mean, like, even just the profanity itself was like a really big thing for me, because I knew I knew there were people who would not approve of the profanity in my book and certain themes that I talk about and stuff. So, but I went for it anyway, and I just had to go into the mindset of like, okay, not everyone's going to be okay with this, but that's fine. And I think it really paid off, because the book is like the most authentic work that I've made so far. So I think moving forward, I'm going to keep the same mindset that I've had with Capsule, of like just pretending that nobody is going to read it and not caring about whether or not people will judge me for the content in my book. Do you take writing fast or slow? I take drafting fast. I take editing slow, I would say. How do you feel about Shira's book and the new writing contest? Okay, so for those of you who don't know, I run an independent publishing house called Lost Island Press. We hosted a contest late last year. The winner was Shira Bohr, and we're publishing her book. It's coming out next month. It's called My Brother's Fair. I'm really excited about it. It's come a long way, and I can't wait for it to finally be released. Like, as soon as Capsule is released, I'm going to start hyping up her book too, because I'm really happy with how it's turned out. I've worked with Shira on the editing, and it's so good. So I'm excited for it. And the next writing contest, which if you don't know, we're doing another one, and the winner gets their book published. I am so excited as well. We have so many more people on our list this year, which means a lot of work to go through those books, but I can't wait to read them. There's going to be a lot, but I'm excited to read them still. When is Capsule's short film coming? Sebastian just made an update in my recent video. It's getting there. And then after it's finally done, it's going to be in the short film circuit for a few months. And then it will be posted on YouTube, probably Sebastian's channel, I'm assuming. I'm running out of questions. It's okay. There's been a lot of questions. Still got to finish the original Troll Hunters. Yes, you should. My audio is good. Nice. Have you read Percy Jackson? I have not. Sorry. What software do you use to write? I use Scrivener, and I love it a lot. I can't understand what the name of the channel is that you said you were going to read the first chapter on. Okay, it's called Lost Island Press. Hopefully, if you don't remember the name, you can go to my channel and click on like any of my videos, and it's in my description of every video. It'll say under Connect my publishing house, and then there'll be the link to the YouTube channel or website, I believe. So you can find it there as well. How could you not like Three Below? I just like the realisticness of Troll Hunters. I feel like it was more grounded. Like, Jim was just an ordinary boy and he got pulled into this like weird magic stuff. But for the most part, the world was like still very normal. And Three Below was just like all out sci-fi, and I don't know. I just liked how the first one was just more grounded. Okay, let's see. Have you wept while creating a scene? Yes, many times in many scenes, particularly towards the end. Let's see. You included me in a video a while back in a Q&A, and you said to me, good luck on your book and writing, and since then I've wrote 2 novels. Congrats! That's awesome. Hopefully you get to publish at some point. I'd be excited to read it. Send it to me when you do. Send me an email. Have you read anything by Ray Bradbury? I have not. Are you going to do some giveaways for Capsule? Oh my gosh! I'm so sorry. I forgot to read the giveaway winners from my ARC readers. All of my ARC readers were entered into a giveaway. So I have 3 winners. I don't know if they're here, but I'm going to email them as well. But if you are one of these people watching right now, please email me your address so I can send you your signed copy. But the 3 winners are Annabelle Kershaw, Noah Haste, and Ariana Yegane. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong, but those are the 3 people. So if you're on here watching this, please send me an email. And it was also sent out in our Lost Island Press newsletter, if you're on that as well. Capsule or Wishville? Don't make me choose between my children. Probably Capsule though, if I'm being honest. Any tips on writing the second draft of a novel? There is a lot online for the first and for editing, but nothing for the writing the second and third. Yes, I do. My main piece of advice would be to read through the first draft without making any changes. I'm a huge fan of that. Just do a full read through of everything. You can leave notes and stuff, but don't make any revisions unless it's like small typos maybe, but I wouldn't even bother with that. I think it's really good to just read through the first draft as fast as you can to just get a general feel of like overall, how is this draft doing right now and what do I need to add? Because if you just make edits randomly and you're not like, you don't have a full idea of you don't have an idea of like the full picture of where your draft is right now, then I think it's much harder. So I always do a complete read through after I finish the first draft. Dang, I gotta go back to work. Thanks, Isaiah. I'll see you around. I appreciate it. If Benji and Jackie had a fight, who would win? And do you think your Leaving Wishville characters and Capsule characters get along together? Oh man. I don't know who would win, but like Benji is younger, so I guess I'll say Jackie. Not that has a huge impact, but like I don't know. Benji still feels like such a child to me compared to Jackie. I don't know why. It's weird. Do you think your Leaving Wishville characters and Capsule characters would get along together? I honestly don't think so. I feel like they would not like. I feel like the Leaving Wishville characters would judge the characters in Capsule so hard. When drafting the book, do you draft on a pen or paper or on your computer? Computer, definitely. Let's see. Oops, sorry, I keep losing my place. Were your parents beta or ARC readers? Did they wait for today or were they just there since the beginning? So my parents are not readers. Yeah, they're not readers. So my parents have never beta read my work. Actually, my parents have not even read the entirety of Leaving Wishville, but my mom says she will read Capsule in the next few weeks, so we'll see if it happens. Will you have a premiere for the short film? I don't know if Sebastian's still on here, but if you are, will it be premiered or will it just be posted? What is Sebastian's channel? It's just Sebastian Delgado. Let's see here. If there was one advice you would give to young writers, what would it be? I said this earlier, but just get started and don't overthink it. And that goes for getting started on YouTube too. That's like my advice for starting literally any project. What do you think about books that handle multiple dark topics? I like them. However, I think it's good to be cautious because there have been some books that I think they overdo it. Not in a sense where it's like there's a limit on how much dark you can have in your book, but like it got to the point where like there were so many, like, there was just so many issues and topics brought up that none were even explored, if that makes sense. Like, it kind of felt like, oh, let's just throw in that this person has this health condition too. And I don't know. I feel like if you do incorporate multiple dark topics, you have to actually like show that you're putting some effort into actually developing them too. Like, not just throwing them in for the sake of just making it darker, if that makes sense. Oops. If not coffee, what supports you while writing? Coffee is the only thing. Um, are you still following Haruki's schedule? Everyone asks me this. Of course not. I could not do it. I can't describe how hard that week was for me. I literally had no life for 7 straight days because my entire day was just spent on this schedule. I felt like I was like training for some, I don't even know. It was intense though. I was running somewhat consistently for like a week or two after that, but then it kind of trailed off. And right now I'm not following the schedule at all. And my sleep schedule has been crazy because of this release. But I was definitely like, I felt good after that week. So like, I probably should be incorporating more into my schedule. And I think my past self would be disappointed that I'm not doing anything right now, but I'm trying to get back into a kind of a rhythm. Oops. Oh my gosh. Advice on finishing a first draft. This doesn't work for everyone, but I'll say what I do, and that's to word vomit. Like literally just write, get all of your thoughts out onto the page. I used to spend too much time like focusing on chapter by chapter, trying to perfect it before I even knew if that chapter would even stay in the final cut. But that's just how I write. So I tend to not do much planning. I guess if you have a really good plan, then you could write slower. But what always helps me is to write really, really fast. I feel so bad for procrastinating on the Capsule review, but exams are practically just so suffer. That's okay, but feel free to review it whenever you can. Let's see. Thank you. Oh, in response to my mug. What time did you write Capsule mostly? Bedtime or morning or whatever you want? Either super early in the morning, like 5 or 6 a.m., I would say, or at night, like around 10, I would say. It was like a pretty even split of morning and night. Oops. Do the topics justice, dark or not? I agree with that. And leaving Wishville and Capsule mix is gonna haunt my dreams. Let's see. What drink do you think best suits Capsule? Okay, I was so disappointed that I didn't get to incorporate a coffee shop into the book. I like made a commitment that every book would have a coffee shop, but it wasn't fitting with the stories. So unfortunately, I can't say for sure that coffee is the right drink. It's definitely like whatever your comfort drink is, something to cheer you up. Let's see. Can you make a video on why you started writing books and how you didn't get bored and not finish? Possibly. I might do more writing videos. I've been doing a lot of writing videos though lately, so I'm trying to do some other topics too. Yes, messy first drafts forever. I agree, for sure. If Capsule ever had an offer from Hollywood, which celebrities do you want to keep? Oh my god. I don't know celebrities. Like I don't know people's names and actors' names and stuff. So I don't know who I would choose to play the role. But like I don't think I'd be too picky if it was Hollywood. Will you ever write a trilogy or something? Yes, I'm writing a trilogy right now. I usually brain dump on paper and draft on my computer. Oh, that's interesting. I write notes on paper, but I don't know if I could draft on paper. That seems really hard. When you're writing, do you have page or word goals, or do you just let the story flow? I do have goals for word count. I'm very strict about word count. mostly just because I'm trying to write the first draft really fast. But I don't have like word goals per scene or per chapter. It's just overall, I want to write like 2,000 words to get today, 3,000 words today, that kind of thing. Oops. Mel loves coffee so much she tries to include it in all of her books. Yes, originally I really wanted Kat to have a caffeine addiction, but it didn't fit. Actually, I do have a little bit, I don't know if I should be revealing this. I have a little bit of an Easter egg going on in my books, and I'm just waiting for someone to notice. I don't know if anyone will, but we'll see. I'm not going to say it. It's just going to be out there. So thank you guys for staying on here. I hope that I'm being somewhat entertaining. There's just so many questions. How do you feel about Capsule after all this writing process? I feel good. I mean, it's weird because I kind of feel like I released it when I sent out art copies, so I'm kind of used to the fact that like, okay, people are reading this. I would say like May 15th was like one of the hugest deals for me, but I'm so happy that it's like officially out there now and people can, and also the launch, just all of the art reviews I've had have been insane. Like have been so many posts on Instagram, I can't even fathom how much more successful this launch has been compared to Leaving Wishville. Like, I don't know what I've done to deserve all of this. There's just so many full reviews on Goodreads, like long, in-depth reviews, and they've been so fun to read through. So I'm really happy with how far Capsule has come already before the release date even. So I'm excited. And I'm also excited to start working on my next book and put this one behind me. I love your skit videos, like the writer's block. I rewatched it the other day and laughed so hard. Thank you. I mean, I like editing the skit videos, but they're also so cringy. I mean, I might do more though if you guys like them. Ooh. Is any novel getting translated to other languages? Secret. We're not supposed to talk about that yet. If the characters went to Hogwarts and had powers, what would they be? Oh, I don't know anything about about Harry Potter, so I don't know what their powers would be. But just like general superpowers, I would say stuff that's already related to the book, like time, like manipulating time type stuff. Mm-hmm. Is your favorite book still The Girl Who Could Fly? I would say yes, just because I have very fond memories of that book, and it inspired me to write my first book that I published. But I have not read it in so long, and I don't think I'm gonna touch it because I think if I reread it, just because I've changed so much, like I read that book when I was 10, I'm scared that I would like my feelings of the book would change, so I'm not gonna touch it. But as of now, it's still like it's still probably my favorite. Let's see. There is a girl from the show, Nancy Drew, that has similarities to what your book drawings of characters book. Interesting. I don't know the show Nancy Drew, but I will check that out later. Are you going to delete this live? Anyone here who knows about live streams, can you tell me how I save a live stream? That would be very helpful because I have no idea what I'm doing here. Normally it's from book to movie, but if you could write any movie into a book, which would you choose? Whew. That's the thing. I don't watch movies too often. And I feel like my favorite movies all came from books. So that's a really tough one for me. The only thing I can really think of is like that one anime movie, but technically that's from a manga, so it's kind of already done too. I'm sorry, I don't have an answer to that one. Oh, okay, I think I know. If the person who's asked this question is still here, then I think I know what my least favorite ship would be. It would probably be Peter and Kat, to be honest. Yeah, I don't know why I did that to myself. I want to start to write my own book, and I want an opinion from an author like you. Do you have any platforms you can share with you? You could try emailing me. Okay, I'm glad that this is somewhat entertaining. Thank you, Elliot. Which character from Capsule or Wishville would you choose to be your roommate for a month? Oh, God. I would say cat, just because that would be fun. Or it would be hell. Can you give us a timeline thingy for that Easter egg around that? What chapter it is? What chapter is it? We need hints. Halen. The Easter egg is probably written hundreds of times in Capsule, not hundreds, probably in the tens. And same with Leaving Wishville. It's there a lot. Will you ever rewrite the Skyweaves with us? I can't reveal. I can't. Should I reveal? Okay. Whatever. There's only 59 people here anyway. Yes, I'm rewriting the Skyweaves with us right now. It's the trilogy. I'm turning that book into a trilogy, and I'm really excited about it. Do you have any tips on marketing a book as a new beginner writer? Yes, I would say mostly focus on building an audience on a specific platform. I really recommend YouTube. I feel like it's easier to grow than on Instagram. You could also try TikTok, although I don't know anything about that, like I said before. But yeah, I would say the most valuable thing you could do is try to grow an audience wherever you are. And just post about your writing and post about other things besides writing too, because all of these authors, they post just about writing, but obviously authors do other things too. And I think people like to learn about more than one aspect of people. So that's my main advice. Oop, I lost my place again. What did you use to distribute and manage art copies? Book Funnel. I highly recommend it. How do you outline a book? Like, where do you start? I usually don't outline until like the second draft, although I'm trying to do more outlining for this next series that I'm writing. But I highly recommend Blake Snyder's Beat Sheet. Look it up. It's very good. I've used it a lot. And I like how it's relatively flexible. It's not really as set in stone as like the 3-act story structure. The kind of the concept around the beat sheet is these beats can be placed anywhere, but they have to be in the story for the story to work. So I realized with Leaving Wishville, when I analyzed it using the beat sheet, that I was missing a very important beat, and that was what my beta readers were saying like was off about the story, but I never really knew why. I don't know. It really helped me analyze my book. What sort of characteristic protagonist should I have that you prefer in a thriller story? I don't think there's any set characteristics for any protagonist, no matter what genre you're writing. How long did it take you to nail down your signature? Oh man, I spent a long time practicing that. I was like so hesitant to make that signature because I was like, oh, cursive with the Torrefranca, that's just horrible. I don't know, probably like a few days of just like doing it a lot of my free time. It was call it a waste of time, but whatever, it was fun. Let's see. We should make a YouTube video rereading The Girl Who Could Fly and reacting. That would be fun. I might consider that, although I'm kind of scared. Let's see. Blue seems to be your favorite. I'm not sure what that means, but yes, blue is my favorite color. Let's see. I'm pretty sure live streams just stay on your YouTube post page. I hope that my horrible tech live stream I can delete, probably. that was bad. I just realized I received the arc of Capsule and it didn't show up until I just searched for it. Now I'm sad because the download expired. Ooh, I'm sorry. I think it's for the best though, because if you receive that back in, I forget when the file was updated, but if you received one of the earlier ones, it did have quite a bit of typos. And for ARC readers who received that one that had typos in it, thank you for dealing with it. I know those were probably really annoying. Let's see. Are you an introvert or an extrovert? Definitely an introvert. They only go if you delete them in studio. Thanks for the help, guys, with my YouTube live. I don't know anything about that. Thank you, Mel. That ship is the worst. Okay, I don't know about the worst, but I'm with you. Yeah, I agree. Okay, for those of you who don't, I was discussing this with Halen. We were talking about ships, but I agree. I agree. Let's see here. I knew she wasn't going to say Peter for the roommate thing. Yeah, probably not. I'm sorry, guys. I'm losing my spot. It keeps moving. That's a trilogy will be waiting. Yes. I listened to you read parts of The Sky Weaves with Us, and I actually really like the premise. I'm so happy now. Thank you, Becca. Yeah, it was okay. The Sky Weaves with Us, I think it was very poorly executed. For those of you who read it illegally online, you'll know what I mean, because apparently there's quite a few who have. But it was very poorly executed. But in terms of the actual storyline, like the setting of the story and kind of how this system was structured, I think it was actually very creative. So the story has changed a lot, but it's taking place in the same universe. Trilogy, yes. Did you ever feel weird or out of place when writing Peter's blogs? Oh man, that was so dark. Writing those scenes, I had to mentally prepare because I had to put myself in the mind of like a horrible person. And I'm like, how do I write something just complete, just cruelty? How do I do that? And I was like, is this pushing it too far? Does this feel like fake? Those were really hard to write, actually. The Dear Stranger poems were like fairly easy, but Peter's blog post changed a lot. And I think from the beta reader copy, one of them actually was changed or cut. Not fully sure on that, but they changed quite a bit. How are the lost wisdom teeth? They're good now. Oh my god, that was the worst experience ever. Literally, that was the worst few days of my life, not even lying. And then not only that, but a month later, I had my mouth swelled up again, and I had to go back to the dentist. Not the dentist, the surgeon. And he told me that it was like something really rare that happens sometimes when I don't even know what it was, but he had to like stab my gums and drain it. Okay, I probably shouldn't talk about that. That's gross, but it was not fun. So that whole experience was just. How do you get started in writing when you have so much missing plot holes that are hard to fill? Ooh, I would say just take it one step at a time. Like, don't think too much about how many scenes you have to fill in. Just start. And also a big thing, write the scenes that you're most excited to write first. Maybe that's not the best advice, actually, but that's what I do. And then I deal with the hard ones later. Just because it's like, if I go in chronological, that was horrible. If I go in chronological order, I drive myself crazy because I'm not a fan of that. It's kind of more exciting to hop around, I think. Oops. Let's see. How long will this live stream go? I have no idea. I'm kind of just going with the flow. But if it starts dying down, I guess I can end it. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. What was your reaction after getting 1 million views on the Haruki video? Oh my god. That was insane. I never expected to get 1 million views on a video. Okay, that's technically still not viral. I think viral is 5 million. It's crazy. But that was like the biggest a video of mine has ever gotten. And it happened in 2 spikes too, which is really weird. I had a huge spike back in, I think it was earlier this year, where it hit like 400, 500, 600, I don't know, something like that. And then I had a second spike that was even bigger, and it hit 1.2 million. And the weird thing about when a video gets recommended a lot and YouTube boosts it in the algorithm, because that's what happened. The weird thing about that is like it all happens within the course of like a week, and then it just dies. So it's just like a week of like every time I check YouTube, I have like so many comments I haven't read. And it was just insane. It was insanity. But I was pretty happy that I got 1 million. That was cool. When you started signing books, were you scared to write in them in case you felt like ruining them? Yes. I was like not confident in my signature skills. I was like, oh, I'm gonna like scribble some stupid looking thing on this. Any advice for self-publishing teen author? I've heard of Ingram Spark. Do a lot of research, try to prep as much as you can. It's really rough because there's so many steps, but the best thing you can do is just like make sure you're prepared. And number one piece of advice, make sure you have tons of time before your release date. Don't rush too much. Will we ever be able to read the full first unedited edition of The Sky Weaves with Us? As many people have pointed out and continually point out in my The Sky Weaves with Us video, you can apparently read it illegally online, and there's no way I can completely erase it from the internet. So if you really want to, there's nothing I can do to stop you. You can find it online on some sketch website. So that is the answer. What are you pursuing in studies? I am not going to college, and I am very happy about that. Was the other book that you published before the Sky Weeps with Us also made under Jane Windshield? I've always wondered what that book was. Oh yeah, I like briefly mentioned this. Honestly, I don't really consider it like a book that I published because it was mostly just for friends and family. And it didn't really, I don't even think it was on Amazon. I published it on some like weird third-party site. But it was really short. It was called Pitch Black. And I thought that was so cool and like edgy. I was really young. Yeah, it was called Pitch Black, and it was really dark. And I think I wrote it when I was like 7 to 10. But yeah, I honestly don't remember anything about the story itself. Yeah, it's been so long since I've written it. And it's horrible. The formatting, I don't even want to think about it. Oh, it was the updated one, but still it's for the best. I'm not gonna complain. William, you can email me. I'll send you the new one if you want. Let's see here. Are you a college dropout? I never went to college, but so not a dropout, but I'm not going. What's your favorite band? For the longest time, my favorite band has been Half Alive. I even went to a concert. They were the first band that I saw in an actual concert. But my favorite band right now is called UFO UFO. They're like really like criminally underrated. I love them. What is your personality type? Are you talking about MBTI or whatever it's called? I'm an INFJ. What's the reason behind naming your publishing house? I framed the name of Lost Island Press after the concept of leaving Wishville. I just thought it was really cool. And I thought it was cool to have like a title of the publishing house be related to my very first book published under the house. So that's kind of why it was related to Leaving Wishville. And if you've read Leaving Wishville, then you'll know why it's called Lost Island Press. Let's see here. Mel went from like 5K to 20K in a couple weeks, and it was insane. It was insane. But the weird thing about having a video blow up like that is I feel like a lot of people who subscribe to me now don't really like the content I make because the Haruki video was kind of out of the ordinary compared to my usual content. And so I think it was like a couple weeks after that video had a huge spike, I posted a Q&A on my Instagram, and normally they were like all writing questions. And all of a sudden they were all about running. Like, what's your running routine? How much do you run a day? How long do you have any tips? Like, I was like, guys, I'm not a runner, but I appreciate you following me here. Let's see. Something you love about Murakami's books. I'm actually not really, I wouldn't consider myself a fan of Murakami. Not like I don't like his books, but I actually haven't read anything more than Kafka on the Shore. Do you still 10K run? No, I do not. Publishing when you're a teen at a very tight budget, definitely doable. You just have to do a lot of the design yourself. If you have like, it depends on like what computer you have, but you should be able to get some design software or even design on something like Canva. I'm not too familiar with that. I'm sure it's probably doable to do a book cover design on Canva. It's definitely tricky. I would say try to get friends and family to read and check for typos if you can't hire a proofreader. There's definitely workarounds. There's some freelance sites like Fiverr, Reedsy, where you can get more like better deals that help with publishing, stuff like that. So you can do it at an affordable price. You don't have to pay a ton of money, although it really helps with saving time if you do have that money. What have you learned while writing Capsule? People forgive characters a lot more than you think. I thought that I pushed Peter Moon too far, but apparently it's fine. My coffee is cold now, but it's okay. Are you gonna do another following a person's routine video? Possibly. I've thought about it, but I also don't know if that's really my style right now because it's such a huge commitment to follow someone's routine for 7 days straight. especially if it's a tough one. And I think it's only interesting if it is a tough routine. So I might do it again if I know for sure that I can commit to it for a full week, because I'm not going to do it for like a day or 3 days. It's just that's not a catchy title. Do you organize research for your novel or just go with the research flow? I do organize my research a bit. Like I have in my Scrivener, I have different sections. Like I have a whole research tab about time capsules. The whole concept of the reason why I was doing research on time capsules is because time capsules, like the whole concept behind it is you typically bury a bunch of objects and then those objects get found later on in the future. So it's kind of like it's essentially like boxing memories and having those memories rediscovered in the future. So that's kind of how I got a lot of the core concept for Capsule. So time capsule research was a pretty big part of it. Let's see, Abby Emmons did a first draft versus last draft. So can you show us a page from the first draft and last draft for a video? Ooh, that's cool. I love Abby Emmons, but yeah, I'll consider that idea. Let me take a picture of that so I don't forget. How do you keep plot twists interesting and leave red herrings? Red herrings are like my favorite things ever. They're just so like mean, but I love red herrings. How do you keep plot twists interesting? I think plot twists are generally very interesting, usually as long as you make sure that they're believable. So you definitely want to set clues along the way, but nothing too big where it's easy to be discovered. So I would recommend, or the main thing I'd recommend is leave a lot of red herrings and clues to your plot twist, and then make sure you have beta readers if you have a story that involves plot twists to just make sure that people don't know from the start and like see the plot twist coming. It's okay if like a rare amount of people see it coming, but you definitely don't want like a majority of people reading your book to, know exactly what's happening. Can you give any advice for writing fantasy books? Also, would you ever try writing fantasy with a magic system or not? Sorry, I don't have any advice on fantasy. I'm not really a huge fantasy writer. I guess Capsule does have a little bit of fantasy elements, but not really. I don't think that I would ever write fantasy either. Will there be another book trailer for your next book? I don't know. For those of you who haven't been keeping up with my videos, I'm moving to Thailand in November, so I don't really know what my life is going to be like at all starting in November. So I may or may not be able to film a book trailer if it's while I'm in Thailand, which it most likely will be. But we'll see. I'll keep you updated. Oops. Oh man, I lost my spot again. Oh gosh, there's so many questions. Thank you. Let's see. Is that the next one? What expectations do you have for this year's Lost Island writing contest? I expect a lot more submissions now, which is a good thing, but also a lot more work. So I'm going to have to figure out the best way to go through submissions. But I also know that it's probably going to be really, really hard to choose a winner because a lot of these people who are submitting, I know for a fact are very, very talented writers. So I'm a little bit nervous going into this review process because I know it's going to be a really, really tough decision. Let's see. Oh, yes. Let's see. I saw Strange Clouds in the Lost Island music chat and I fell in love with that. And the Fool's song. Yes. Oh my gosh. UFO is the best. Do you like writing large character casts or smaller ones? I would say Leaving Wishville is quite the large cast. I mean, you get to meet a ton of people in the town. Capsule is much smaller. At least a lot of people have said it was smaller. I'm a bit confused about that because some people have said that Capsule has too many characters and some people said it's a small cast. But I would say Capsule, to me, is a smaller cast than Leaving Wishville, and that was intentional because I wanted to really focus on a smaller group of people and really dive into their characters. For a while, I was actually going to have 4 main characters, another character in addition to Jackie, Peter, and Kat, to kind of mimic what I did with Leaving Wishville. But then I decided to narrow it down to 3. Although Jay does play a pretty large role in this story, he's still like not one of the main characters, if that makes sense. Have you written any fan fiction? I wrote a very popular My Hero Academia fan fiction on Wattpad several years back. I am embarrassed of it, but it is under an anonymous account, so I am safe. Would you ever make posters or shirts for Capsule? I have a poster actually, and I'm prepping to make a shirt with just the Capsule on it. We'll see if it happens, but I'm kind of planning to do it. Let's see. Name your favorite author. Recommend a self-help book. I don't really have a favorite author. I always just say Victoria Forrester, author of The Girl Who Could Fly. Recommend a self-help book. I would say Atomic Habits. I forget who the author is. Darn, that's horrible. But Atomic Habits is a very good book. I'm reading it right now. A Yeti. Get yourself a Yeti. Oh, I shall consider. I actually have an Ember cup. You know, there's like, I got it as a gift. When it's one of those like heating mugs, it's like very overpriced. Gosh, but I hardly use it because it's so small. It's like 8 ounces. It's tiny. I have a friend that has offered to do cover design on Photoshop, and she insisted on doing it free, so I'm good to go on that. Oh, that's awesome. Are you interested in any sports besides running? I'm not even sure if I'm that interested in I did badminton in high school. I mean, it wasn't like an intense sport or anything, but yeah, other than that, not really. I just really want to get into martial arts again. Oops, I lost my spot again. Favorite song? That's so hard. My genres are so weird. I listen to like really heavy rock sometimes. Other times it's just like chill or indie music. I've been getting really into NF lately. Probably not everyone's style, but I really like his song called Change. That one's very good. Please lend your voice to Jackie Mendoza in short. Let's see. Can you suggest me a movie with good writing? I really like Wonder. I actually never read the book, but the movie was very, very, very well done. Sebastian's message is retracted. Let's see. There is no Capsule short film. It's only for Leaving Wishville. No Jackie, but instead Mayor Perkins. Yes. Oh, thank you, Ashley. I'm glad you're getting some Capsule books in there. Is the next book only having teen protagonists? Like teen and young adult. I have some characters. Gosh, the age range is much larger in my next book. I have characters that actually I'm stuttering so much. Leaving Wishville and Capsule take place in relatively short time frames, but this next book that I'm writing is going to take place over probably, this may change, so don't hold me accountable to this, but it takes place over about 4.5 years. So the characters actually age a lot over the course of the trilogy to the point where they're like in early 20s, I believe. I'm not fully sure. I'm still planning this out, but I would say the age ranges from like the Leaving Wishville ages to like early 20s. Could you imagine Leaving Wishville or Capsule being studied in school? Oh my lord, I would prefer that over Macbeth. Honestly, I thought of, or sometimes I imagine like if like my book happened to become a classic, which is, what are the odds of that? But if it somehow won that raffle, I feel like people would be reading my book and they would be analyzing the symbolism. It would be that awkward moment where people are like, obviously the author just didn't do that symbolism intentionally. I don't know if I'm making sense, but you know how people joke about like, oh, the curtains are red, which means blah, 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 but the author just meant that the curtains are red. I'm not making any sense, I'm sorry. But a lot of my symbolism in the book was actually very intentional, and I'm not sure if anyone even noticed it. But I'll throw a hint. There's a lot to do with flower symbolism. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of went on a tangent there. Sorry about that. What is your favorite part of being able to connect with readers through social media? Oh man, talking to people about my book has been so much fun. I love it when people DM me and we just chat about books sometimes. It's cool. But the only thing is, I get a lot of questions from people asking me to answer questions that were not answered in my book. And I'm like, oh, I don't feel comfortable answering things that were not answered in the book. I don't know. I just don't like anything I feel like anything I didn't write in the book is just not canon, you know? Like I shouldn't say anything that's not already said. Let's see. Would you ever write a book that takes place in one day? Capsule, for the most part, takes place in one day. My novel is the first in a series that I'm really proud of, but I have an idea for a sci-fi mystery first draft from NaNoWriMo. Any advice on those genres? Let's see. Sci-fi mystery. I guess that's probably kind of similar to Capsule. I would say, I don't really think there's any specific advice that goes along with a certain genre, but with mysteries, if there's like a big reveal involved in the mystery, I would say I have the same advice as what I said earlier, where it's like leave hints along the way and then make sure that you have beta readers because that's really important if there's any plot twist or like big reveal in your story. Do you plan on writing any books in first person? I actually do have a draft of a book that I wrote in 2020 because I wrote Capsule and I also wrote a second one, which I have yet to have an official title shared. But that I'm actually leaving that on hold for now, but that one was written in first person. And I'll probably get back to it at some point, but right now I'm really excited about this trilogy. What do you usually do to relax your mind? What do you mean? Gosh, I guess driving is like very nice because I can just listen to music and not think very much. So driving, I guess. I don't really watch shows or movies too often, so I mostly just like write in my free time. What book that you read would you say is the closest you can get to Capsule? Or is there any book where if you read that, you would like Capsule? I haven't read any books similar to Capsule that I can think of off the top of my head. A lot of people have compared Capsule to Ready Player One. I personally don't really see it because Ready Player One to me is like very gaming centered and Capsule is like kind of light on the whole gaming thing, I'd say, and tech factor. But a lot of people have said, I personally don't really know how to describe it, so I'm just going to use what people have said in reviews. But a lot of people have described it as, you know, if you like Ready Player One, if you like the show Black Mirror, and also 13 Reasons Why. I get that one a lot for some reason. That's a very good book, actually. I'm not a fan of the show, but the book was amazing. How would you react if you woke up and saw a floating capsule in your room? I would be terrified because that would mean my brain was becoming reality, and that would be just horrifying. Because I get a lot. All of my books are just really depressing. How did you manage writing with high school? Because high school was super stressful. Man, I was taking like IB and honor classes, and I was also in badminton, so time management was pretty rough. What really helped me, a lot of people don't like this, but I wrote in the mornings a lot, just because when I'd get home after a long day of school, I'd be really tired. And like, if it's nighttime, I'd rather just be laying in bed watching YouTube than writing when I'm like really exhausted. But if you write in the morning, then when you get home, you've already written. So writing in the morning really helped me during school. Have the characters or scenes come in your dreams ever? No, I wouldn't say so. I don't really dream. From the description of what the Sky Reads With Us has stated, seems to be about a guy having an awful family. The Sky Who's With Us, kind of, but not really. It's more about like this messed up society, and there's a rebellion. It's dystopian. I'll just say that. Is Capsule R rated? I wouldn't say R, but like if you're sensitive to profanity and some darker themes, like if you're not really a fan of that kind of stuff, then I wouldn't recommend it. Really depends on you. There's not like a specific age. It's just like what you're comfortable with. Um, hold on, I need some more coffee. Let's see. Morning writing. Why are you laughing at me? For some book to buy. What is Leaving Wishville about? Oh, Leaving Wishville is pretty much about this town where everyone who's left has never come back. And so there's kind of this unspoken rule that no one leaves. Like, it's just this taboo in the town. And the main character is 14-year-old Benji Marino. His dad was the last man to leave and never come back. And Benji is always really curious of what's out there, what happened to his father, why his father is presumably dead. And all of his friends, you know, they really care about him. They don't want him to leave because they want to keep him safe. And so it's just like this really interesting scenario. Sorry if I'm like missing questions here. It keeps moving around. How would Jackie react if they read Capsule about themselves? Sorry, I don't know what that means. How many cups of coffee do you drink a day? Hold on. Oh, I didn't see that question. I don't know about cups. I mean, I guess it's like 2 cups, but to like 4 espresso shots max. Okay. Yeah. All right. I think, okay, it's been like an hour and a half, so this is probably getting pretty long. I can probably wrap this up soon, but if you have any last minute questions, feel free to ask now. And once again, like, thank you to all of my ARC readers for all of the support today. It's been crazy. I was not expecting this many reviews, and everyone who has reshared stuff on Instagram, it's just been so amazing. So thank you so much. And I also sent out a newsletter, but if you ARC read Capsule and you like left a review on Instagram or Goodreads, if you could copy that review and paste it on Amazon to leave a review on Amazon too, that would be greatly appreciated. It's very, very helpful. You have no idea. But thank you so much. All right, last few questions here. Will you accept a book where the main, in Lost Island Press, where the main character is an old lady? If it would work as YA, yes. Whoa. Thank you, guys. Just want to say thanks for being such an inspiration. Like, seriously, you're so awesome. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. It's okay. It's okay. Make sure you send me that email. I don't know if you have yet, but I will send you the updated version since you never saw the last one. Your birthday was yesterday. Oh, happy belated birthday, Abby. All right. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. This has been fun. And thank you for asking all the questions. That was a lot, but hopefully it has been entertaining. And thanks for making this release so incredible. Thank you to everyone who came to my premiere this morning. This is just unbelievable. So thank you so much, and hope you guys have a good day. I'll be on Instagram quite active and responding to YouTube comments throughout the day as well. So I'll see you around, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye, guys.